sleeping like a soldier trapped inside of an iron lung. Machines can keep you breathing, but what happens when you find a new war's begun? Flip a switch, you turn it off, you won't be able to breathe. So either way, you're a casualty. I've got this burning like my veins are filled with nothing but gasoline. And with the spark, it's gonna be the biggest fire they've ever seen. Coming down, but let me run. Either way, it's all gonna burn. The only way that they'll ever learn. Flip a switch. Light up the night. There is a city that is dark, just can't hide. There are the embers of the fire that's gone out, but I can still feel the heat on my skin. This mess we're in, where you and I, maybe you and I, we can still make it right. Maybe we can bring back the light. At the heart of the city. At the heart of the city, there's a building that looks down over all there is. And the man in the tower controls it all without releasing a single fist. Sold it to the devil now. It's gone to hell and they wonder how. Well, a friend was doing men would fall with a man who would turn the leaves. Now the world is spinning out of control. What would we do if we held them still? If you destroy the working parts, what you get is a broken machine. A beacon of light from a burning screen. Light up the night. There is a city that is dark as can hide. There are the embers of a fire that's gone out, but I can still feel the heat on my skin. This mess we're in, where you and I, maybe you and I, we can light up the night.
Yeah, how'd you like that?
No more pudding.
Hello, Kalu Kalay. How are we doing today? My name is Notepad and I write games for fun. So what are we doing today? Readjust my microphone here. What are we doing today? Well, today we're going to be working on Starfield for exactly 1 hour. Yes, I have a timer here actually for 1 hour. Then we're going to be working on other things. Watching Super Bowl. Yeah, I just checked the Super Bowl fucking statistics and fucking Philly's winning and my day is ruined. God, I hate Philly. Philly is not America's team, even though when they beat the shit out of the New England, yeah, New England, that was good. But Fundamentally speaking, I am supposed to support anytime New England loses, but I am not supposed to support you in any other circumstance, Philly. You do not get to have my mercy. God, Philly is awful. Let's see. How's everyone doing? Subject, Starfield RPG. I wonder if it would be different if it would have looked if they kept Kirkbride around and had him do the hallucinogens before writing the backstory of the sci-fi story. I don't think much would change. Like, people talk up people like Kirkbride and they bring up people like that. I think Starfield was just a... They couldn't go weird because they had Microsoft money. Unironically, I think that's one of the main reasons why Starfield is kind of a weird game. Because there was a lot of Microsoft money, and there was a lot of expectations, and there was a lot of, you need to reach the most amount of people in the best way you can. Of course, you can do all the content, in your first run through, but every time you do it, there's something more wacky next time. You have to have the factions not be too complicated because, well, that's not good. People like Fallout New Vegas, they like the cowboy, so here's the cowboy land. We like cyberpunk, so here's cyberpunk land, and things like that. You have to keep it very safe. And I don't think Kirkbride could have done that. I think anything he wrote down would be tossed in the bin pretty quickly. So, what did I do from last time? Well, again, we finished all of character creation. I did terrestrial combat. Now, one weird thing to note is that if this looks familiar to you, it should, because welcome to the USSRD combat system. Yes, the USSRD combat map system is right here. Kind of the same premise behind everything. I did end up the idea of incidentals. I think incidentals are fun, but yeah, I use that system because it's the thing with Starfield combat that makes it a little bit difficult to port over to the tabletop. And this is any tabletop game. I'm not gonna lie to anybody here. If you ever want to make a tabletop role-playing game, understand these pivotal issues. 1. Height is a pain in the ass. Does not matter any game you play or any game you make. The concept of height differences is always a pain in the ass because you have to factor in a lot. There comes a lot more issues when you start adding in a Z layer. Now, mix all of this around, but you have the idea that potentially everyone can be flying because jump packs exist. So you are adding the element of flight now, or at least limited movement flight. So on top of all of this, you also have the potential of it being 0G, where you can move in any direction as long as you have momentum, and then things get really, really hinky. That's Starfield's combat in a nutshell. So, because I'm on a limited time frame here, I put $10 on a hat trick. Am I losing my money? Maybe. I think the issue with Starfield is too deep in genre fiction, breaks the suspension of disbelief. They could have gone away with cities made of 50 people if it looked more like The Expanse. Yeah. I want the tactical movement without the grid of measurements, but I also don't want to have an abstract map. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. You understand, it's nightmarish. Yeah, it's a true nightmarish experience. So I went a very abstract, but I think this works for what it is. This is a very simple way of doing things. Combat was pretty simple. I do have the idea of, hey, spend 1 oxygen to get an additional action, but you can also do the basic way of getting additional actions is you reduce your initiative by 5. So, for example, let's say I have 15 initiative, I can get an additional action if I spend 5 of that. Now I'm acting on 10. I can get 3 actions total if I go down to initiative 5. If anything were to happen to me to reduce my initiative, though, I might initiative crash out and I'd lose all my actions. It's kind of a risk-reward, but one of the big things is oxygen. Everyone has 5 oxygen that they can spend to do things. Right here, stamina to act for amazing feat. It is literally, here is a boost that you can do. Here are 3 different rule sets for combat. Try not to get confused. Yeah, welcome. It's great. So, here's Astro Combat. So... the vast expanse of space. A seemingly empty void filled with adventure and danger. Filled with danger and profit to be made. A common tactic for pirates is to sit in common jump points. Jump point sectors. Let's see. A common tactic for pirates is to sit in common jump point systems and ambush any in ambush. Let's see. Common tactic for pirates: sit in common jump point systems and ambush passing traders or explorers for their cargo or the scrap on their ship. When engaged in Astro combat. When engaged in Astro combat, it's all hands on deck as every member of the crew their ship stays flying. So what we do now is okay, so similar to terrestrial combat. We'll find equal to 1d10 plus combat physicals. We'll find their initiative score. Yeah, we'll find their initiative score equal to the same structure of turns and rounds remain in place as well. However, if multiple are on the same. However, if multiple combatants are on the same ship, they may holding on. Or holding on. Type for a bumpy ride. Hatch holes, fire guns, or hold on. Type for a bumpy ride. And so. Grabbing this. So the UCM, let's see, United Colony Stellar, the UCSMS, Colony Stellar, actually radar system. And UCSRS, United Colony Stellar Radar System, is built into every ship. Manufactured in the past century. Sensor systems, built-in mapping, and even a 3D space organized. Or pinpoint move. Let's see. Even pinpoint movements. Between the two forces in the field. The pilot, the Starfarer. Pilot, we'll declare their position. Let's see. The pilot, Starfarer at the controls and managing the ship itself, will declare their position. And hope for the best. Should to or the chaotic, trying to get the best on one another in a chaotic exchange of gunfire. Cover. When a starship is maneuvering, may choose to take evasive maneuvers. Skirmishing, they may choose to use evasive maneuver, take bot, protect themselves further. Their base protection set at 16. Battens enters the, what would it be? Skirmishing, it would be jousting position. They presumably intend to take battle to the enemy. Made by one on their turn. Their base protection set to 12 plus 2. They Oh, no, no! Table for pirate ship generation will be same guy copy pasted. GM is obligated to same phase during combat when attacking. Use the same phrase during combat when attacking, even when it gets annoying. Oh, God. I'm focusing. I'm locked in. I'm thinking smart. And here you all are being like, let's do naughty words in chat. You can't be saying naughty words in chat. We're all good people here. Come on, guys. I'm locked in. I'm thinking. Technique. Set as 8, but they do have a +4 to all of their action. Let's see. Entered a dog fight with an enemy. Both of their protections are set to 16. Shoot into the when others shoot into the dog fight, they'll make an attack check. Okay. It's legitimately the exact same thing. It's great. Okay, we do this. You here. Starfare is maneuvering or skirmishing. They may choose to. Evasive maneuvers. Equal to the size of the ship. Equal to the size of their ships. So we right here, and then we do class A, class B, class C, class M, class X, class X, and then we go to alpha class. We do an alpha class, beta class, Centauri class, theta class would be a shit, what ships? Yeah, so Centauri theta. Okay, so plus they get a +6, they get a 4, +2, 0, 0, and 0. Class M and Class X cannot really perform those because they are not actually like built for that. That's not the point. Alpha class get a +5. Let's see. Starfarer is in the joust. Or close in. They may choose to use a. They may choose to use a technique. Use a technique. Techniques. A technique. Piloting skill with the appropriate piloting skill. Hello. Good night. Good night. Good night. I actually cut myself today. I nicked myself on my my lip. I was tasting blood all day. Damn. Okay. How do I want to word this? So, up this. High speed maneuver. Oh, let's see. Starfarer punches it at a +2. Triggers a ship weapon of their choice. Let's see, high speed maneuver. We're alpha striking. We're trying to joust effectively. What am I looking at here? What am I thinking of? What am I thinking of? Ride the edge. Let's see. Link skill with fancy flying. The So we've got this, so that immediately go to actions and action. actions in combat. Well, they'll perform a number of actions of a willing to risk initiative. If it starts due to the scale of ships in the settled system. Let's see. Due to the scale of the ships in the settled system, but passengers may provide assistance. Well. Each may be used by the pilot or a single passenger. Thus, if the pilot chooses to pilot and a single passenger. Pilot chooses to shoot a gun. A passenger can aim and fire that same ship weapon as well. Ship weapon as well. Let's see. Thus, pilot. However, a second passenger cannot shoot that same gun. Have access to all modules of the ship from the cockpit. Okay, so we don't need you right now. Okay, so we need to write this out. So, attack light gun, attack heavy gun. So we're going to be push it file. Yeah, if you want to perform patchwork, you have to be a passenger. You cannot be in the pilot seat to actually start trying to fix the ship in kind of a more desperate circumstance. Let's see. We want to do. I guess it would be other skill check. I guess it would be something like this then. Makes a light gun. This leads to immediately to other, because we don't have to worry about defending, obviously. So patchwork. Other would be here. And then we put a table right here. So this would be 75%, 50%, 25% drifting. Actually, I should say disable. There we go. Effectively, the more fucked up your ship is, the harder it is to actually fix it. I think that's a pretty reasonable. I think that's a pretty reasonable thing to think about. Plus one range. They move in additional one range in any direction. There we go. Then we have a skill check and use item. So what we're going to do is would I get assassinated by copyrights and trademarks if I made tracking and hunting a Monster Hunter inspired game? No. Just don't use, like, the monsters from Monster Hunter, like, word for word. That's the kind of the big thing they're gonna get you on. You can't use, like, a Rathalos or whatever. Like, you can't be like, here's a fucking Rathalos, and then charge money for it. You will be crucified. They will find you and they will kill you. It will be a very sad death, and we will all mourn you. Oh, Rizzalos. Finally. My god, it's the Rizzalos. Disabling Starship. And people, disaster may deter and people may be getting hurt. Maybe getting hurt after being disabled. After. The ship explodes and joins the thousands of others in the void. So we're going to be adding, swing all the way back up here. We're going to be grabbing a 1d10 chart. We're going to be doing this and plan on writing this, but I'm a silly boy. Let's see. I'm a silly boy. Let's see. So, reminds me I need to 5d10. 6 5d10. Oop, didn't mean to hit that button. Purchased, annihilated. It would be zero G, zero G. Manipulators, gravity manipulators down. Gravity manipulators have been disabled. Everyone is currently in 0G. That pretty much means you are forced to make a link skill with 0G manipulation to do fucking anything. I'm trying to ignore the halftime show and the football game. Keep with the same theming as long as you don't use the same words. You can wyvern them because it's public domain. I'll call it Elder Dragons. Yeah, that's pretty much the main thing. Not critical system damage. Static damage. These ships. God, what would be bulkheads are but over long and travels with the ship freely. So we have hole punch. What would be another good Mm. Mm. What would be some other good? What would be some other good things that have horrible things happen to your ship? Let's see. That would be actually. Mm. 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 Shake up. Let's see. The weapon system completely disabled. They will need to repurchase it. Shake up. Mm. 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 There we go. 60, 10 down. Mm. Let's see. If in will doubles and be successful. If an attack would roll doubles and be successful, they would roll in the critical damage chart as well. Go. The food dispenser is down. All hope is lost. Okay, so we want to disabling. Let's see, each hull point, that is costly at the best of times. Each hull point recovered costs 100 credits. To fully repair any critical damage. Any critical damage costs an additional 500 to fully repair the system, or force the crew to repurchase the module. Okay, so dying in space. When a starfarer takes damage, they will reduce their health by the amount. Let's see. When a starfarer takes damage, they will reduce their health by the amount of damage they have taken minus their currently equipped armor. If the starfarer ever reaches 0 health points, 0 HP, 0 health, they are down and automatically take an injury. You will automatically take an injury. Mm. Mm. But they are still standing and able to react, but any subsequent damage incurs an additional injury. After 5 injuries, these expiring after, expiring not long after. There we go. Yeah, that's why it's like you do have a lot of health in this game. You have 100. It's 100. On the other hand, it's very easy. Fuel can redundant lock triggering out of order, locking everyone where they are. Yeah, that's what I was going for, like a hole punch and things like that. Constant fuel leak in space. The weird thing about fuel. This is one of those things where I keep going back and forth. Starfield technically does not have fuel. Like, that's one of those really weird, like, things in the game where they don't have fuel, really. What does that mean? You don't buy fuel. You don't get anything like that. This just improves your, like, jump range. So, like, there's a part of me who's like, well, I may as well add fuel into the game because that's important. Another part of me is like, no. You know what? We will do, you know, we already have weapon disabled, so what we're gonna do, you know, fuck it, we'll fuel leak. So Glass has broken. Broken leg. Pain radiating from broken leg. They. We go all the way down here. Let me double check its position. Mm. 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 Let's see what we want to do. What would be, I mean, Starfield. Let's do Starfield. Mm. 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 Lacerations. Actually, oh god, what would it be? Mm, 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 mm. Entirely. They're out cold for 1d10. They were out cold for 1d10 rounds. Yeah, you could just be out of, like, yeah, you're just fucking unconscious. Mm. 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 Concussion. Infections, dislocated limb. I need help, Doc. Let's see. I want to. Mm. 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 Mortal wound is the you're fucked and there's nothing you can really do about this at this point. Let's see. Mm. Mm. actually, so we want to do when the Starfare. Mm, 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 Let's see. Let's see. When Starfarer and their crew rest and when the Starfarers, I should say, rest and recover, they regain 2 plus 2d10 health points. Recover signifies natural recovery over time. If they take initial. Let's see. After this After this initial recovery, they may choose to make a. Let's see. They may choose to make a first aid, medicine, or rejuvenation check. They may choose to make a first aid or rejuvenation check. You recover an additional 2d. Do. You. Gonna do first aid, medicine, and if I can. I don't know why I keep putting in the second eye there. Whoa. Okay, that. DT. This is DT. Fucking DT 12 administered by. Let's see. Administered by another. An additional plus 2d10 medicine. DT. This would be DT 16. For myself. Nope. There's my timer. Okay, there's my timer. So we're gonna do perform themselves. These, let's see. These may be linked to. Let's see. These may be linked to receive a better out. Let's see. These may be linked to receive a better outcome. We do this easy to understand. We need to do trade lanes, market, and enemies. I think we can I can probably. But what I'm going to do now, because I'm going to burn myself the fuck out if I don't. So I'm going to hit the next hour going on. Yes, hello. We're doing another hour. I'm going to, jeez. It gets worse every time I look. So, hit that. Dun, dun, dun. So, I'm going to grab all of you. Let me just grab all of you. Shift you over here. If I do not see it, I do not need to worry about it. So, we're going to get some basic things done about these. Why? Because I feel it's important. Ludus Maximus. Ludus Maximus. So I think it's always important to get some preliminary notes done, because preliminary notes makes life a lot easier when you're going to do it. So, Ludus Maximus. At the end of the day, if we're really going to look at like what the pitch is, the pitch is ultimately another coin for the jukebox. Ugh. Oh god, bones. My bones. Let's see. So, the basic pitch behind Ludus Maximus is ultimately a gladiator simulator. Now, this is where things can get a little bit hinky-winky, because hinky-winky is what we do best. There's currently two ways of doing this kind of idea. And I'm partial to one, because it is definitely a little bit more esoteric. Effectively, we can do troop play, or we can do pretty much group play. What does this actually mean in the grand scheme of things? Troop play. The troop play is that each player has multiple characters. So it's not, you as a player do not have Billy Bob, that's your singular character. You've got an ensemble of like 6. You've got those 6 characters doing their own thing, having their own, having their own story being told. However, that's it. Group play is what we would kind of consider like the classical way of thinking about how games are, which is effectively you and the party are part of a group doing things. Now, the weird thing with troop play is that we could mix up the perspective with troop play. Hence why I'm a little bit interested in doing something like that. I don't know if this is the right game for it, though, because of what we're going to be doing. Effectively, the player is the ludus. If for those who don't know what ludus means, it's effectively a gladiator training school. That's the best way to kind of think about it. It is a training school for gladiators. Like, you are a person who runs your very own school, almost. And as you as the ludus, as the person running the school, you've got your own troop of people that you're kind of worrying about other people at the same time. I'm going to bring up a very particular game, because it kind of is the same concept behind it, which is Domina. I genuinely do not know how many people will remember Domina. But Domino was a really interesting game because it was that same idea. Is you would be playing the domino. That's what the player would be. You are a person who is either invested into a school, who runs the school, or you're indirectly, you the player character are not a gladiator. You play as a gladiator, but are not the gladiators necessarily. You have that little bit of a disconnect, you could say. You say to yourself, well, I don't really care what happens to these guys, but I want to do well, and I want them to do well because I make money off of it. And if they make money, that means I get all my other guys get money, and it's a very long listed, very long rounds of things there. I think that could be interesting in its own right. On the other hand, that's, again, a very high concept. You're looking at a very, very high-minded idea. Is that good? Is that bad? I don't know. It's a very specific concept. That very specific concept sometimes might leave people a little bit weirded out. On the other hand, group play is reliable. I think that's the big thing. You are reliable and you are the gladiator, which is ultimately the fantasy, if you think about it. Because what is the fantasy of playing a gladiator game? It is being a gladiator. You know, if we type in gladiator, you know, it's people want to be Russell Crowe. People want to be they want to be doing this. You know, they want to have the cheering of the crowd and things like that. That's kind of where the fantasy lies in, if that makes sense. We don't care as much about the logistics. We care about glorious battle and, you know, doing cool things. That's what's interesting. That's what people are fundamentally coming to see. But that's really not the whole story behind it. And I think there comes a point. And the reason how all this came to be, by the way, why Ludus Maximus came into my life a little bit. Let me see if I can... This is the Snaker. I think you should watch him if you are like me and just really, really enjoy... if you're like me and just really enjoy very long-form combat, then this is actually a pretty good channel, and I do like all his videos. And it was this one. The Colosseum, Road to Freedom. Let me bring it up. This game, when he talked about it, activated so many memories in my mind. I remember this game back in ye youngin' days. I remember seeing it. I remember looking at it. I remember wanting to play it, but it was too grown up for little Notepad. And I was like, this is fundamentally interesting. And this kind of plays into both fantasies in a way, because you have to manage your gladiator life, and then you also have to manage You have to manage the fact that you are a gladiator just as much as manage the fact that you are doing crazy bullshit fights, if that makes sense. It's kind of both sides. It's a very interesting video. Very interesting game. Very specific. Yeah, he talks about Shadow of Rome. That's the same thing. Rise, Son of Rome. I remember Rise, Son of Rome. Let me see. It was Rise, Son of Rome. What is it? Unseen 64, you said? Rise Kingdoms. Yeah, like Rise, Son of Rome. You're kind of looking at what I'm even looking there, and it's kind of this. There's a lot of ideas here, and there's a lot of angles you can go with the idea of the Gladiator Simulator. And I think this question right here is really going to define the game. And what do I mean by that? What does this what does this actually entail? Because it's the idea of survivability and that fantasy playing into it. Because at its core, like, if we're doing a troop play, you know, things can be like lethality, lethality goes up. Why does lethality go up? Because if you get a character killed, it's not, no, my character's dead and I'll never like to play another character ever again. It's like, well, fuck, there goes money I've invested in this one, but he kind of paid himself back, so it's fine. You know, it's your way of looking at things changes. On the other hand, it's you have more of a, you know, you have more personal investment. People always put a little bit of themselves into any character they play. That's just a thing people do. Welcome to effectively being actor and putting that belief in your mind of trying to be another person for at least an afternoon game. And there is that personal investment. It sucks when a character dies. You're like, damn, my character is dead and I feel sad now, because that's a character that you invested time in and that's something you care about. My fear with the true play is that people will be like, they're just disposable cannon fodder. And that's kind of the idea. Now, one thing as well is that if we go here, lethality goes up, and that means characters become simpler. Now, what does this mean? You need to be able to make a character extremely quickly. This is not, you can't spend 30 minutes making a character, you can't spend a million different roles or whatever making a character. You gotta be able to make them bingo, bango, bongo, fast, easy, quick. Because they might only be around for one or two rounds before they have to go against Grungo the Sodomizer, and you're like, well, shit, guys, I don't think we can win this fight, as you watch your, the guy you just invested in get his head caved in. Like, that's kind of, it has a very different... You can't care as much about the individual because you have to worry about a lot more things going on. But, on the other hand, we have a lot more non-combat activity. Now, what do I mean by non-combat activity? Because you are taking the role of a very different character. You're taking the role of a very different fantasy. You are, it's like, we got our stereotypical gladiator. Let me bring up a... it's like, you have our stereotypical, gladiator man doing the gladiator things. Like, okay, cool, he's he's the fucking Thracian or whatever. Like, yeah, okay, cool, we've got him. We're not necessarily, we're taking the reins of him, but we're not really worrying about it. We're, we are, someone else. We are a different kind of character. We are thinking of the long term. We're thinking of the business. And that would be something there, which the non-combat activity would be, you are designing your ludus, your school, your stable, effectively. And we can have a lot more interactivity there, which is, hey, you are literally a free company. You're a free man who owns a company. You train gladiators for money. That is what you do. That is your job. Men come to you, they pay you money, and they go into the arena and they take a chunk and you get a chunk of their pay. On the other hand, if you get a bunch of people killed, people aren't going to be signing up. Hey, you are a dominus. You literally just have a shit ton of slaves. None of your recruits are good. They suck. The guys who join your group, they're dirt cheap, aren't very good, they are not qualified gladiators. On the other hand, they aren't qualified gladiators, but damn good God, they know what the fuck they're doing. They're fighting for freedom, and that's what they are going to do. They, when you take the role of those characters, you're fighting for freedom. You're not good, but you're very cheap. You're very expendable, and you're always kind of working your way up. And you can have a couple of these different schools, of these different ways of looking at things, and you allying with another, you and the other players are effectively looking at that almost as a weird fantasy sports team. Appropriate for Super Bowl Sunday, of course. But you're looking at it through that almost, like, fantasy league. Hey, your fucking guy over there is really damn good. He's got really good traits. He's got really good stats. I will hand you 5,000 denarii for him. Give me that man. I will make him $1 million. We will make money. And that's a deal that you would have to do. You might want to trade away players. You might want to trade in. I don't quite know how I want to do that. That's kind of the idea. You have a lot more of the, yeah, they should be a blank slate. As we learn more about them, we define them more. That's a great idea. That's great. That's a wonderful idea. But if we go down that group play aspect, this power dynamic changes. It gets inversed. Your Ludus, the guy who might own you or you work for, is an NPC now, and he might make demands of you. He's effectively a patron. It's, hey, I am playing this man. I was taken from my home as a slave, and I'm fighting for my freedom. Versus, I fucking recruited this stupid-ass slave. He's survived 3 rounds. He's doing pretty good for himself. I want to make sure that he does better. It's important, and that's why I mean, like, more combat interactivity, which is, you are kind of expected to go into different fights, and the way that they are presented are a lot different. There should be a very highly detailed thing of getting a cut on the arm should feel a lot different than getting cut on the leg. Where it's armor positioning and things like that. Over here, we don't really need to worry about that as much because, well, who gives a shit about this rank 1 guy we barely know? I don't. Why should you? It's kind of like, where's the focus and how do we focus that down? Because the group play is like, it's you and 5 gladiator, and like you and your friends are effectively a team of gladiators working for this. Here, it's a team of Ludus, having their own companies to worry about. That's where you get, there's a couple ways to do this. But either way I'm, like, looking at this, like, I think regardless is, like, we're going to have a pretty meaty combat system. I think that's kind of an unescapable truth. No matter what we do, this combat system needs to be bloody. Dangerous, and most importantly, entertaining. Because that should be a very important part of the experience, is you are not just 2 guys thwacking each other with sticks. Like, that's not what we're working. That's not what we want to accomplish here. 2 guys thwacking each other with sticks is not the goal. We are working with 2 guys thwacking each other with sticks to entertain this Magnus super crowd of hundreds of, people being entertained. And it's like, yeah, you put on a great fucking show. Like, you guys put on a fantastic show. You lost, but you know what? People fucking love you. They want to see you back in the arena because you fought like hell, and the only reason you lost was you slipped or something like that. People like that. That's where one of the fantasies comes in. So I think one of the ultimate fantasies of, the gladiator experience is just as much this as this. The crowd cheering and the crowd booing, trying to motivate, trying to get people excited, trying to inspire just as much as scare the shit out of them. This is a brutal game of blood sports. But gladiators were all blood sports. They didn't want people dying. Yeah, they did, but they don't want you to, because, this guy's this guy is expensive. Like, you don't want to, but then you fight like, yeah, here's a show match against a fucking tiger. This is scary, as you might be 3 guys against a fucking tiger, being like, okay, what do we do with this? Pray. Only good thing Philly deserves being nailed to a cross. Yeah, okay. Yeah, but so, yeah, like, there's a lot of different things you can do here, and I'm not... Because the thing is, there's... As for, like, setting-wise, currently I am split between, let's see. Currently I'm split between Thetos. Literally just do over here, the, Thetos. Another part of me is a new setting. Is effectively what if Super Rome effectively, or take a little bit from We Who Are About to Die, because that has We Who Are About to Die has a lot of the same concepts in mind of what I'm thinking of. So it was like, okay, we got something. I think that works pretty well with kind of basing it off of something. I don't really know. Both have their appeals. I am not entirely slave to either one. About Thetos. Yeah, Thetos, I have the idea of how to do Thetos and make it really fucking weird. Because Thetos just needs more weird shit, and shit's fun. But yeah, right now, this is the ultimate question. Do we want troop play, or do we want a group play? Because once we decide that, I think that's really going to influence most everything else going. And that's something I'm gonna kind of muse on going forward. But, let me see, do I have... Extreme, fucking Evergreen. Do I have boy? Oh no! Ooh, I gotta actually fix all these things, don't I? But, we're going to have all you, and put you right here, which is going to be... Borzoi. Yeah, we're kind of pitching. We're just kind of trying to get some basic information done. We're trying to get the absolute basics done at this point, because it's good to get ideas, and it's good to hammer out concepts like this at this point, rather than sitting there and debating the finer points of wanting to kill myself. So, Borzoi. Effectively, the fantasy here is a little inversed. Borzoi has always had a very strong premise, which is you are cyberpunks, but you were cyberpunks. You were cyberpunks. Now you work for the corpse, hunting them down a little bit. And it's kind of a very weird look at it, which is the idea of being a sellout. and I can have my continuous my continuous rant on the nature of cyberpunk settings, being effectively you sold out, you sold out for a better life, and that should be something to worry about. That should be something to think about, because nobody wants to be a cyberpunk. Vietnamese Rome, Muay, not bad. But kind of the idea is always been for Borzoi is you are cyberpunks who have been recruited forcefully, effectively, by a corporation named Borzoi. Borzoi hunts down super criminals. They are effectively super cops. If you are looking at Shadowrun, it would be Lone Star. You are effectively a PMC group that people hire out to hunt down problems. And the problem is like, hey, you got caught. You got caught and put in jail. You were caught in something happened, and you are no longer a cyberpunk because you took a deal. And that deal is working for the corpse to do their dirty work. Now, system-wise, like, if we're going, like, pure, like, system-wise, you know, like, system, I've always kind of envisioned it as D10, as, like, 2D10, or something simple like that, but I'm also partial to a dice pool. It's been a while since we made a full-on dice pool, so I think that's kind of interesting. I like dice pools, personally. I think they're very interesting. There's a lot of tricks you can do with that. D10 dice pool would be there, but I was like, there's a couple ideas to do that. Now, one of the things is when it comes to character, because this would ultimately be a character piece, it would be focused a lot more on character, is either, I was thinking about literally having like a class system, which is a weird way of, let me explain a little bit. Effectively, you make your character based off like really generic cyberpunk archetypes. You're a hacker, you're a street sam, you're a very generic archetypes, and it's like, okay, that's who you were. You're not that anymore. Something happened. Something occurred, something happened, your contract was bought up, or, something happened there, and now you work for Borzoi, and you're kind of using those talents in different ways. But it's always going to have that, effectively, it's the safety net versus freedom. And even down to things like, I want to have, like, and the corporate side, kind of like the punk side, because it's kind of say like there's the corporate and punk side. With the corporate side, like, yeah, you have corporate housing. Like, you have a home. You pay rent, but it's like, oh, cool, you have a 2-bedroom apartment, effectively, that you own. It's yours. It has 24/7 security, and you have a cleaner come in every other weekend. Like, all right, that's just your life. Like that. Like that. You have medical insurance. Yeah, you have medical insurance. You take damage, you go to a corporate doctor, they will patch you up. That's your fucking job. That's what it should be. Because it's safe. And that's kind of the idea, that's like, good, kind of the idea of like top of the line gear. It's reliable, it's safe, it's very good. Yeah, I have a place to live, I've got good insurance, I eat well, I get the best gear I can do shit with. This is awesome. This is what everyone wants. But you lose that punk aesthetic. You lose the you lose kind of like the you effectively you lose your freedom a little bit. You do work a 9 to 5. You are late to work, bad things happen to you. You have the mundanity of corporate life. Like, yeah, every session should open up with a meeting. That's what it would. Effectively, every session doesn't open up with, cool, you're hot dropping in to kill people because you're badass super cyborgs. It's like, no, we're in a meeting. Okay, everyone, here's our projections for this quarter. We need you to do this. We need you to do this. Hey, congratulations, everyone. Let's clap because he did really good last time. Yay, good job. There will be a pizza party later. Like, you have that extremely mundane, like... Like, you have that extremely, like... Here's your 3D10 with Hito system. Borzoi, a good company. That would be the thing, is like, Borzoi isn't a good company. And it's one of those things like, yeah, we treat our own nice. We'll give you a house. We'll make sure you have medical insurance because we work in security. That is our job. We work in corporate security. So yeah, of course you got decent medical. Include the weekly free frozen yogurt menu in the book. It's like, hey, yeah, you come to work. We've got things. Yeah, congratulations. Here's a fucking pizza party. And you can kind of have that comedic angle to it, being like, yeah, no, here's the, hey, congratulations, you did really well on that last mission. We're hosting a pizza party for your squad. Yes, you get to order a pizza. That's it. Like, yeah, you have that really mundane way of doing things. On the other hand, you don't have that... How do I want to do it? It's, you have that rigidity of morals. As a cyberpunk, as a cool punk, you have morals to do things. I ain't gonna kill this kid. We are not running drugs. No, we are not gonna hack in and ruin this guy's life. He's done nothing wrong to us. Don't do that. Stop that. Hey, we're not doing that. As a punk, you can kind of say, like, here's a line in the sand. This is a line that I will not cross. You have that right. You have that freedom. On the other hand, with the corporate world, with the Borzoi, is like, oh yeah, no, just kill them all. Every person in this area is red lighted. You can just shoot them all. It doesn't fucking matter. We encourage you to, even. And you kick down the door, and you're like, ah, shit. Like, these people aren't bad. These are fucking normal people. We just know one of them's bad. We don't fucking care. Gun them down. That's your fucking job. Yeah, effectively, so do you have to show up in the meeting in your cyber suit? And it would be kind of that'd be kind of like the harshness of it, the harsh, like, tone shift. I think that would be a big important thing, is that is massive tone shifting. You have this bleak, sterile, corporate, here's meetings, here's accounting, and you could have plots inside of accounting, effectively, where it's like, oh, hey, I'm Todd. I work in accounting, man. I've been noticing that you've been doing really good. I want to do even better this week. So, hey, man, what if you do this and we can get our sponsors to do things? And you're like, yeah, cool. I could totally wear the Super Panda Express. Yeah, that's kind of the idea. Is it's like that should be the moral waves that you have are a little bit stricter. Instead of having the freedom to kind of be very malleable, it's like, no matter where you look at it, you need to kill everyone in this building. We don't care how you do it. We just need you to do it. Okay, we're going to collapse the building and everything's sorted out from there. Yeah, all right, I don't fucking care. As long as this guy's dead. Not my fucking problem. And, like, you have, like, a guy from accounting trying to pitch you on being, like, a spokesperson for, like, a cool new brand. Or, like, oh, we need you to use this gun and make sure you show it off and do all this shit because we want to make sure that we know what we're doing. But then you have this hard cut to a fucking Hotline Miami map, effectively, where you kick down the door and you have to start shooting. You know, you're trading away that little bit of humanity with you, and we can kind of have the, you know, the overall thing of, you know, it's like trading humanity. You know, trading humanity. Actually, I should say humanity is a commodity. And your flesh is a commodity. Your being is a commodity. And it's just both of these are trying to do that in their own way. You know, the punk life is like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get chromed up to fight against the man and to survive and do all these things. While being corporate, it's like, we're chroming you up to make sure that your efficiency increases 12%. Because if you don't, you're going to suck. And it's like, do you try to maintain that bit of normalcy of like, I am still a human being? Or do you say fuck it and try to become Atom Smasher? This should be kind of like one of the end goals, like one of the end states of Borzoi is you just become Atom Smasher. You trade away anything that is roughly regarded as human. And you are a fucking, you know, homunculus at that point. But hey, you got everything you want. You live in a luxury apartment. You have all the money in the world that you can do whatever the fuck you want with. You have a 401 fucking K, perfect medical, and you want to know what? Yeah, you've got to. Yeah, you married Deborah from accounting. You've got 2.5 kids and a little fucking dog named Fido. So what if most of your body is cybernetic? Who fucking cares? You don't. Why should you? Like, CEO mindset. But yeah, you know, like, that's kind of one of those ideas what I want to kind of touch with Borzoi. Is like, yeah, we have a budget for this mission. Yeah, try to stay under budget. And that's such a weird thing to think about. And, you know, if you think of, like, cyberpunk fiction. Like, if you really think about, like, cyberpunk fiction, it's like, oh, well, we don't care that we did this. We stuck to the man or whatever. But, like, here's, like, yeah, no, you guys did awful. Like, truly awful. We completed the objective. Yeah, do you realize how many fucking legal fees we have to worry about now? Like, no. Like, you guys fucked up. Like, we are in the red because of this. On the other hand, be like, hey, good fucking job, guys. You really killed all those people as efficiently as possible. Be like it's covered in blood. Being like, I've seen shit. And like, there's ideas here where there's ideas you can go with Borzoi to make it very weird and very interesting. Like, what it like? Oh, like extras or something. Extras. Like, kind of, you get like, some of the ideas that I was thinking about are, like, do we want a, quote, sanity? Like, do we want the idea of how human are you still? Are you okay with that? Or do I want to just be like, I don't fucking, like, they don't fucking care. Go to a psychiatrist if you're feeling sad. We have one on staff. Go see them. Hey, you've been acting a little bit weird lately. Ever play Kane and Lynch? Fucking Kane and Lynch. Yeah. And it's like, when we have things like, do we want a sanity meter? It's like, do we want to have hard cuts? We want to make that almost like a mechanic, almost, of like, you have your office and you have your field work. Like, you are two very different people sharing that same body, almost. On one hand, you are a cybernetic killing machine who has abandoned any pretense of being a moral person. On the other hand, Deborah from HR wants to talk to you about your performance evaluation you filled out. Yeah, oh, okay. You're doing really well. Like, it's like, what do you fucking mean? Like, how, like, having those hard cuts of, like, that's why I was thinking about having like a class system, almost, of like the idea of the class system, not necessarily like kind of giving you some basic ideas, but it's, you were a street Ronin, you were all these things. This is who you were before things went to hell, before you got here. And it's like, oh, okay, this is who you were before everything, and now because you are this person, how does that change you? Yeah, I was this, bastard, super cool, street Ronin. Then I went to prison for 12 years. They bought my remaining 40 life sentences, and yeah, turns out I like having like freedom and air and having a bed. Like, so it's kind of like you have the punk literal separation like Severance. I wasn't quite going like as hardcore like that. But I think Severance is playing a part into it. I've gotten really into... I've been seeing a lot of Severance lately. I've been meaning to watch the entire series at this point, because I'm like, that's kind of clicking what I'm doing. If you're new, you still have the humanity of being a punk in the back of your mind, but... yeah, it's like, there's a couple ideas with like a class system that you could play with. It's like, oh yeah, you are part of the prison industrial complex. Borzoi literally went in, found your file, said, okay, we will pay you to commute your sentence. You're in debt to them, effectively. They know that. They don't care. They're like, okay, do your fucking job, and you're paying off your debt to them. Because you have a exact amount of money you are worth. Try to be worth more, or you're a bad investment. It's like, shit. Especially if it's really low. It's like, what do you mean I was only worth $123,000? Fuck you, man. I'm worth more than that. Like, I think anchors might not. Maybe it ain't. I think anchors could be It's a terrible thing. It's like anchors to punkhood. Like, anchors to that younger aspect of yourself. But yeah, it's kind of like, hey, you got caught. Like, I wrote a book, if you don't know. I wrote a book where one of the characters is effectively that. Is he got caught, and the corporation's like, we're pretty impressed that you got this far. Do you want to... We're either going to shoot you, put you in jail forever, or you can work for us. And he's like, I'll work for you guys. Because I got nothing left to live for. I don't fucking care. Yeah, that's it. I think the idea of having, like, anchors, even just things of, like, this is your punk life, even just down to the fact of, like, yeah, no, you still do drugs. Like, you are a drug addict. Like, hey, that is a thing that keeps your mind going. You're a drug addict, but slowly over time... You're like, hey, we can offer you a rehab program. Do you want to get off drugs? It's expensive. And you're like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I think I will go into rehab. It's like, that's just the thing. You're replacing that freedom. Yeah, I have a freedom to kill myself with drugs. Just that, like, yeah, I've gone through rehab. Oh man, Crazy Mike ain't crazy anymore. Now he's just Michael, a born-again Christian. Like, how much of that human nature do you want to keep going? Yeah. Yeah, there's ideas here, and there's a lot of and when it comes to things like this, it's like, here's a billion ideas. How do we make those ideas feel good? Our final one is Trundle. Luckily, Trundlewood Fortress is not actually too complicated to think about, because it is going to be the D12 root system. It's the, what do I mean by the D12 root system? Effectively, I wrote the guy went from born to burn an orphanage in the morning, then at night runs a blog on music. They started as a teenager. The performance of the blog makes you more inhuman. Like, I love blogging. It's the D12 root system I wrote was effectively you could almost call it like a very early rendition of the D12v4, but not quite. And it was like more based off of Root itself. Root, a game that I won and beat Scribble and Cole at. Fuck you, I'm the winner, you not. But like, the idea of that is a lot more about deprivation, a lot more around. Effectively, I would almost see it as hardcore Redwall. That's kind of like the vibe I would want to go for. There was this one game that the aesthetics matched. It was the Rat 2D Rat Night Fight game, fucking Tales of Iron. Yeah, if you want to know what the vibe looks like, we're looking like this. I think this kind of fits the vibe pretty accurately. Tales of Iron had its own vague issues, but the little bit more grim, one might say. Not a, here's the thing. I like Redwall. Martin the Warrior, and all of the characters in Redwall I enjoy. And you can see all of the different characters in Redwall and their adventures and problems, and I like all of the characters. I don't want to go like full Redwall though, because Redwall exists and Primrose exists. And if you're ever curious and you want to play just another fucking Redwall game, look at Primrose, Hyperborean Mice. Is this another elaborate way to cuck Horus? What are you talking about? How is Horus trying to write a Redwall game? I'm just writing a traditional fantasy game. Additional. What little critters are we here? I would probably go with mice and rats. Like, the thing is, if you look at Root game, like if you look at Root, pretty much all the animals are technically the same height. They are the same size. There's no real difference. There are some are like technically smaller than others, but not. Like, that's a badger and that's a rat. Like, they're not like massive differences. It's not like like if I go to like Redwall artwork. Like, it's not like Redwall where you have a fucking mouse next to a badger and the badger fucking dwarfs him. Like, not quite that scale. I don't There's a couple ways to do it, and that means things get a little bit more complicated to thinking about it. And that's something we need to decide on very, very early on. Is, do we want... We can just say this is Mouse Guard. Because I like Mouse Guard. I think Mouse Guard's pretty good. I think Mouse Guard is a very interesting series, and if you haven't read Mouse Guard, I recommend it. But I'm like, okay, I don't think the full scale here, there's a lot of... Lizards are an option. There are a lot of options. See, Trundlewood Fortress, the immediate idea is we go full Redwall, and it's just like it's mice and it's rats, it's things like that. Like it's small critters being small at one another to, to hack each other to death, kind of thing. Now, going full root has its own appeal, which is, again, one of the reasons why we are kind of working with that. As for time scale, there's a couple options there that I'm not like time scale. There's a couple options that I'm very... I think I could do something similar to it, and I think it would work. Roughly speaking, we could do something around, it would be either like 100 Years War era, because again, fucking Horace was talking about 100 Years of War the other day. Like, you have this kind of era. Like, you do have heavier armor at this point. But in addition to heavier armor, you also have mass infantry, things like that. Because one of the concepts that I want to do is like Trundlewood Fortress is effectively hill on the border, keep on the border. It is, the idea being is, here's this area, here's Trundlewood Fortress, kind of located in the middle of nowhere. There's a Baron. The Baron runs everything. We don't really know anything about the Baron. We don't need to know anything about the Baron. All we know is that Trundlewood Fortress has a bunch of things around it that usually want to kill you. So deal with it. You are brave adventure hero people because the Baron doesn't really give a shit. And he doesn't really care. And he just wants the monsters to die. Alternatively, we can go like... One of the other ideas, like if you want to go for like, oh, it's rapiers and muskets and things like that, it would be very early 1600s. Like English Civil War tier. Like, this would be like the latest, this kind of aesthetic, the English Civil War and things like that. It's like, yeah, this is all happening kind of in the background a little bit. People are fighting, people are getting, Roundheads versus, Royalists and things like that. It's like, yeah, this is the last time for adventurers to do things, kind of thing. Because this place fucking sucks. Or we go full on, or we go full on, like Anglo-Saxon. And what do I mean by Anglo-Saxon? I mean very, full on kind of this aesthetic, this idea, this, yeah, Trundlewood Fortress is a petty king, effectively. The guy who rules in Trundlewood, and this is the kind of the aesthetic going on. I think all of them have appeal. again, Jaeger, you're kind of looking at the issue as of right now, which is like, I have the idea, it's up here, I know what I want to do, but it's like, do we go with the root idea? Most things are about the same size. Most people are... There are different races, different cultures that kind of form around those. But it's like, a mouse and a fox are roughly the same size. But, you know, they have, you know, little swords and little axes and kind of things. On the other hand, if you go more like, it's only mice, that changes things. A fucking cat is terrifying. A cat is, we're going to go enter a... You know, like, at that point you have a very distinct identity to kind of think about and worry about. Or we can go full Redwall. Again, like, Redwall does change the nature of things, and you have to start worrying about... With Redwall, you have to worry about the fact that there are badgers. And why is that so, like, such a unique premise? Because badgers are fucking huge compared to, like, a lot of the characters in Redwall. A badger is a human death machine. And because they are 3 times the size of normal fucking people, they are scary because they're different. They're larger. They're scarier. And that has a very different way of looking at it versus that, because at the end of the day, a badger and a cat are going to be sitting on equal-ish terms. Because there are cats in Redwall. You gotta remember, there are cats. And they really, really want to eat you. Because you're so delectable. Don't you just want to be eaten a little bit? Don't you want to feel like such a weak little thing? That, Zarima Green Eyes, like, that changes the adventure path idea. Like, are they even sentient? Who knows? It's a very unique idea. Stop inserting your vor fetish notepad. Never! You can't stop me. But it's interesting with a setting like this is that you can have so many different options that change the nature of so many of these options change things for different reasons. Like, even with, like, Mouse Guard. Or with, like, the like, even with, like, Mouse Guard, like, some of the fights in Mouse Guard are positively fucking terrifying because, like, yeah, most things are bigger than you. Like, most things are larger, they're intimidating. Like, just look at the scale of this even. Like, yeah, like, they are scary. They're gonna fuck your day up a little bit. And that changes the nature of things. And then you have, things like Hyperborean mice. Everyone loves Hyperborean mice, of course. I love Hyperborean mice. I think it's actually a pretty good game. Where it's like, yeah, you have all the different kinds of mice and they kind of do their own thing. Oh, there's me. Brian Juck's Redwall by way of Conan the Barbarian. But, yeah, I think setting the tone for this game is going to be not even necessarily setting the tone in that way, but it's kind of like setting the groundwork, the rules, the ideas behind it. I think that's going to be a real important baseline things. But I like the idea of it's a bit bloodier, it's a bit meaner. You have fighting going on. And there should be big monsters. There should be large things that want to kill you. And that's scary. But is it a, how do I want to word this? Is it a large thing, which is the cruelty of the massive state, or is it a large thing in the way of, this is a fucking cat, you have a sword? You know, it's this the large thing nipping at your heels is interesting, but what is that large thing? Is it a big fucking cat, or is it the idea of nationalizing the state? Like, both of them have weird theming wise. And I think I think appealing to any of these three do have also will influence things quite a bit. I think all of them do have their own unique nature to it. But with that, oh, goodness gracious me. Yeah, don't try to be fancy about it. Don't have it be a metaphor. The monster is actually just a fucking monster. Like, yeah, again, you could do. It's one of those things, like, you can have a metaphor for it. You can be a little bit more high-minded. Or we can just be very direct about it. Like, yeah, here's your little cat land. Like, here's your little cat land. And, you know, like, okay, hey, everybody, we're all the happy little rodent people. Everyone's happy. And then a fucking, eagle swoops down and kills 3 of your friends and fucks off. You're like, what the fuck? What the hell? Fuck you, man. Like, you can't do that. That's not fair. It's like, yeah, there's a giant fucking eagle that's gonna eat your face. Like, of course I can. Have bows, have arrows, have something. Like, even if we could probably even tone it back a little bit with the English Civil War, go back a couple of years from there, kind of have the perfect aesthetic of everything. My only fear is like, what do you do if you're the only person? You're the adventurer kind of thing. That's the one issue with the English Civil War angle is, what do you do as an adventurer? But, alright, my hour there is done. We got some stuff done. I'm feeling good. We're doing good. I am going to get myself some more coffee, because I have lost track of my life. Second. Good. Good. Ooh. Oh. Very chilly in my. See, I did the unthinkable, which is I fucking shaved. And anytime I shave, I revert back. I lose my gay man charm point, and I instead gain my ability to impress people and think that I'm a real human being and not a gay sex symbol like I usually am. But Notepad, I already think you're a gay sex symbol. I know. What are we working on, boss? Well, we just finished going over our notes. Our notes for the next batch of games. We worked on Starfield for a while, which I'm going to probably need to work on Starfield more. Let's see. What else do we need to work on right now? I know it's a bad start when I look in my server and I see, fuck you, you're a Hufflepuff. So let's see, what do we want to work on right now? We can work more on Starfield. We can work on Fortissimo. We can work on fuck. Should work more on Starfield, shouldn't I? Because if I get done with Starfield needs to be done by tomorrow. And that's the fun part, is I need to finish it by tomorrow. Because that's when it ends. So I am going to attempt to finish it tonight. But as usual, I'm gonna give right now I'm just going to my Steam recommended because it popped up, and I always feel bad anytime I see these things. Because I'm like, man, what the fuck? Steam's been recommending me some weird ass games lately. I just want everyone to know that Steam recommends me weird ass games constantly. And it's like, oh man, you know what you need to look at? Yeah, that's right, everybody. I need you to fucking play the, dismemberment, Bio Girl dismemberment game. And people are like, yeah, you read the fucking reviews being like, lollies ain't worth it, man. You get like nothing out of them. I'm like, what the fuck? No, don't say that. That's the wrong statement to make. Stop it. Why? Why is this being recommended to me? But more Starfield, because this is what we do with our lives now. Starfield Max. We need to open up Void Hunters? Would it be Void Hunters? I think it would. I'm going to open up Void Hunters, and I'm also going to open up 0 Hour Squad. Mm. Mm. Oh, this is the beautiful thing, is I can just go brum. I can just do this. Starfarers are not just cowboys, nallers, wheelers, dealers, and small bulk traders. Well, the major everything in the galaxy is tradable resources today. Information, research, people, and occasionally even artifacts from another dimension. And occasionally even artifacts exuding straight energy. However, the most common trade goods are freight. Freight are goods that people want, from simple crates of foodstuff to exotic weapons, illegal drugs, all to vulgar paraphernalia. Every planet in the port has an open market for selling excess freight to those who may need it. Where? Directly converted into credits. Trading currencies, notably booty of pirates with other criminal elements, pay rates are set by roughly the proper cash. Certain locales have tariff in place. Unless the Starfarers have a direct contact station. This is literally just all I need to do. Different amount of space aboard the stars. Board. Grab you. So advanced robotics. Let's see, agricultural supplies, ammunition, aristocratic elements, basic ores, best end all. Death World wildlife, EVA supplies, exotic materials, explosive, fuel, hard drugs, heavy industry, heavy weapons, light infantry, light industry, or soft, ultra track, animal. Good copper watching. Because you are now part of the Balatro Legion of Rotten Brains. Real. I haven't played Balatro since I've gotten home, actually. Maybe I should do that tonight. Some Balatro. It's legitimately all I need. Okay, so the final frontier. Adventures. When they come out alive. Survivors find themselves going on a host of adventures and often discovering that the best outcome is when they come out alive. At the end of every adventure, that the Starfarers find themselves on, the Starfarers find themselves on, they will. Tricks, learning new tricks, learning new tricks. A few pieces of information keep going. A few pieces of information going. Let's do, we want that. At the end of every session, each actually over the course of the session, a starfarer will mark any skill they use. Success or failure. At the end of the session, may increase any of their marked. May increase. The limit of gradual improvement is equal to the potential of the is equal to the potential skill is linked to tied to. Thus, if physical potential is 3, then fitness cannot be increased to 4, even if it is marked. Even if it is marked. At the end of significant adventures or expeditions. At the end of significant adventures, the starfarers have the opportunity. They select 2 of their potentials and increase them by +1 each. End of a significant adventure starts. Representing, let's see. They select 2 of their potentials, increase them by +1 each, representing their growing legend and abilities they have mustered. Each of the There's no technical limit to the potentials. There we go. So effectively, you can go up to 10. You can hit 10. After 10, though, it's like instead of getting +1 and +1 and 2, it's you get +1 and 1. You can go up to 11. You go up to 12. It's a lot slower at that point. Kind of the idea of like you've hit the point where you're damn good at this and you can just increase things to the moon, but it's just more and more difficult for you to actually make it better. Notepad, no, Notepad, yes! Do you think that popular B-troopers have Jaden animation problem? You know, clue, the feeder looking oneself up at the end and finding what you find. VTubers, not B-troopers, VTubers, yes. So Notepad, are you going to avoid the perverse incentive of the party to fight over who gets to make skill tests? Just, yeah. The thing is, they should be making skill tests regardless. Like, yeah, make a skill test. On the other hand, the guy who already has a 2 in something is not going to do much. Like, and I do have the note of being like, they don't need to make a test for everything. Like, since you can only really increase 2 of them per thing, it's like, cool, I've got my combat and I got this. I'm happy with this. I don't want to get everything. Who fucking cares? I can only increase 2. Actually, I should put in a note there, shouldn't I? Let's see. Okay, so this is the most simple way of actually doing advancement. You do a gradual improvement, or you go on significant adventures, you do a full advance. That's kind of the idea. You just continuously start improving yourself. But we're going to go to heading 2, which is... It's going to be education. Knowledge is the greatest wealth. Greatest wealth one can ever acquire. And in the settled system, this is no different. If a starfarer pursues education through a teacher or holovids, they may have a special. They may mark a skill. Let's see. If a starfarer pursues education through a teacher or holovids, they may mark a skill that has. Let's see. Oh, improving skills in this way is time-consuming and difficult. So we're going to add a chart here. I want to find a chart. So, see. So, Hollow vids. Let's do this. Okay. So it's kind of like the idea of education is it's like it's just time consuming. That's the like let's see, it's already reached the potential and increase it by +1 mark a skill. Yeah, it's like it's easier to say, hey, I want to be stronger. I want to do fitness stuff. Okay, you can do that. Like that's not. Okay, if the gotta look at the fucking thing. 1.5 6 1.8. We can do 8. Grab all of you. We go down to 3. All of it. There we go. Let's see if the Starfarer is still. Mm. Doing education instead. Mm. Let's see, a better you. So, am going to do is I'm going to do some quick little things here that I need to. We are going to do some quick things. So, first things first, observer's log. Certain situation. A certain situation. In a starfarer, losing a limb or suffering some. In the prosthetic. It's relatively simple to be outfitted with a simple prosthetic. Ah, there we go. Very simple stuff. Hey, you lose your fucking arm, you can just get one next time you're at the station. You just get a new arm. Quick. Let's see, with systems like this, it's easy to find a stopgap in character development, which is to say that a character that character's useful skill, less useful skills, and have the quote useful ones. Useful skills improve. Let's see. Having more useful skills improve quicker due to more frequent use. There are a few methods. There are a few methods to round this. But the is presenting opportunity. There should be a method to solve the situation with a gun, just as much as with a clever word, or some big brain play by the scientist. With the nature of link skills, even a pilot with few terrestrial skills may find themselves being useful with their knowledge of mechanics and engineering. Being linked their knowledge of mechanics and engineering, linking with some other skills they may be lacking. Well, do we have anything else fun and exciting in this section? No. I feel like, what am I missing? What am I missing? Feel like I'm missing something. I don't know what it is. I have anything in my notes? No. Well, I don't have time to think about it too much, so I'm not going to think about it too much. So, let's get back to work. So... the free market is alive. Well, in the settled... the free market is alive and well in the settled systems. Allowing even the most nefarious individual to... The main currency is Galbank. Is Galbank? Airfield Galbank. Yeah, the Galactic Banking Consortium. The main currency is Galbank. A form of electronic currency. Let's see. A form of electronic currency that forms the base of... This is digital currency, but also fiat, but also a fiat currency with a limited distribution. Well, due to Galbank distribution services. While technically apolitical, Galbank is unto itself a political entity due to controlling the finances of the entire galaxy. Due to controlling the finances of the entire galaxy. Corporate towns and certain independent systems. In certain independent systems, you have their own currency. Let's see. Credits may be stored on a localized server and transported physically. Mostly due to Galbank taking a cut of any major transaction. Taking a... No. That would be the Crimson Fleet Starfield. Crimson Cringe. Tell me about the Crimson Cringe. Comm Spy, Conduction Grid. Turn to the key. Storm, mask attack on the chief. Let's see. Legacy, that's it. Okay, so we cut of any major transaction, mostly due to Galbank taking any cut of any major transaction through its digital. Transact through digital. So Galbank has been known to offer physical transport of credits for this reason at a much reduced cost. Literally because Galbank makes no fucking sense in setting if you don't do that. Fun fact. This is not this is not anything. This is something I just came up with. Because if you don't put that in there, Galbank is fucking retarded. Galbank is just stupid. It's very fascinating of how bad Galbank is at their job. So, heading to, we want to find weapons. So, in the settled systems, almost every person who most carry it for the vague protection. More remote jump point. Very real threat of piracy at more remote jump points. Each ranged weapon come in a variety of classes. Ranged weapon. A ranged weapon comes in. Oh no. Combat skills. Ooh, hee hoo ha hee ha hoo ha. Oh hee hoo ha hee ha. Range weapon. A range weapon has a range weapons have a so let's see, what we are going to have is okay, so if we are I want to think of a way to insert table that. So, name, type. You know what the type is. We actually type / skill. Easy enough. Actually, I guess it would be weapon skill. Weapon skill, damage, range, ammo, tag. Actually, I guess put hands. What if we do rain, and tag. Have a tags. Ooh. There we go. 2.03. Okay. Let's see. Associated with each entry. Weapon skill. The weapon skill is what the Starfarer requires. What the Starfarer will you successfully use the what the Starfarer will use to successfully use the weapon. Actually, I want to do Starfield guns. Tell me more about all the weapons in Star. Tell me more about all the weapons in Star. There are actually, surprisingly, not that many different kinds of weapons, though they have a very bad tendency of using the exact same thing. Weapons in this game look like shit. They look very, basic, let's say. Let's see, use the weapon. Damage for... Let's see. Each ammo type. Ammunition. Handgun, rifle. Actually would be handgun, rifle, shotgun shells. Handgun, rifle, shells, battery. Handgun, rifle, shell, battery. Or let's see. Hands indicate. Mm. 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 Finally tags and finally. Actually, do I even give him money? Actually no. Yeah, no. Mm. Mm. Tags indicate special properties of the weapon. That influence. Okay, range weapon indicate. So back. We are going to put in a very small selection of pistols because I really do not. Let's do. Let's do mag shot. Why not? What's the gimmick? Do. Let's see. Particle beam. Oh, we do this is the A99. Shotgun. Not. It's considered a rifle. It's got a longer range than that. It's got a range 8 full. It costs a heavy 1500. It takes for a fucking reload. Actually, no. Let's see, Star. Hello, Starfield. Hello, boy. The Starfield. We're gonna tone that down. Beowulf's gonna do that. It's gonna have good range. Boom, boom, boom. We're gonna bring that down to 900. Reload. Actually, we're gonna do with Beowulf. We're gonna do coil. We're gonna give it recoil. Then we're to the. I'm just doing literally just random guns. So mag sniper, mag pulls, sheer, from males. Go. Maelstrom doesn't do long range. Actually, that like this. Weapons, laser rifles, the Equinox. We'll do the Equinox. Equinox, long arms. It does 2d10 plus 10 damage. It's got a range of 5. It's a rifle. It full. It does not actually rifle. It uses battery. And it's a fucking expensive. There we go. And it has energy in its reach. How does this energy weapon have recoil? I don't fucking know. It just does. Okay? It just does. And then we shotgun, shouldn't we? Shotguns. Vroom, vroom, vroom. It's a shotgun. Shotgun. We want to do a coachman. We're gonna do a breach coachman. Breach, which is a long arm. It does 2d10 damage. It has a 3. It has shotgun ammo. It costs full. It is cheap, but it is a shotgun and it has recoil. Which brings me to the coachman, which is long arm. Which is long arms. Does 4d10 damage with the shorter range. Shotgun, full. About this, little bit more expensive. Shotgun. There we go. And then we get to here. Do we have laser shotguns? No, we don't. So, ballistic heavy weapon. We've got the micro gun. Mm. 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 No material rifle, heavy weapons, heavy weapons. This does 10d. This does 12d10 damage with a range of 9. It uses rifle ammo. It is full. It costs a whopping $3,000. It's got recoil, and it is a reload weapon. I think they share it. They do not share ammo types, fun fact. They are all unique, different ammo types. So melee weapons. Melee weapons are still fairly common. Melee weapons are still fairly common. So, lucky thing about having melee weapons is we don't need to worry about range or ammo anymore. We can just get rid of these two things. This. And we're going to quickly learn that there are very few melee weapons actually in the game. Yeah, as you can see, there are very few fucking games, but fucking melee weapons. So this is going to be the... It's physical. You're gonna be... So we want the rescue axe. A rip shank. A fucking shank. A fucking shank, which does 5+ combat. Naval Cutlass, dueling, 25 plus physical, wires main, 1250. It is, of course, very reliable. And then we have a boarding axe, which is wing, which is 30, which is 40 plus combat, which is 40 plus physical. Are there boarding axes? No. Do I want to add a boarding axe from Legend of the Galactic Heroes in this game? Yes, because why the fuck wouldn't I? If the opportunity to let me add a fucking battle axe from fucking Legend of the Galactic Heroes presents itself, you're goddamn sure I'm going to give myself a goddamn battle axe from Legend of the Galactic fucking Heroes. Yeah. Kind of the idea is, an actual melee weapon, when you get into melee, it is extremely, extremely valuable. Actually, I should do, Yep. Physical there. Put a bayonet on your gun. You can totally put a bayonet on your gun. Go. Very important to have axes in space. Hey, man. I don't know I don't know. Like, this is extremely fucking aesthetic. Like, this is... Young man, do you have a girlfriend? Yeah, exactly. A fucking boarding axe. Again, anytime you see me talk about boarding axes, this is exactly what I'm seeing. Because your boy loves Legend of the Galactic Heroes quite a bit, and there's always something extremely gory and extremely, like... There's something insanely appealing about just like, oh yeah, we're fighting for our we're fighting our best. What are the main weapons of these very sophisticated men? Oh yeah, no, just a fucking gigantic axe used to fucking dismember people. You're like, wow, that's fucking horrifying. Like, that's genuinely the scariest goddamn thing I've ever seen. Like, wow, that's horrifying. Let's see. I'm going to add this. Gonna be tag, and this is description. Let's boink, goink, zoink, Scoob. What are we doing? Reliable, automatic. Recoil, you just need to be shotgun. Dude, you just need to be energy. Mm. 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 Recoil. Mm. 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 Let's see the new one. No, I do not like the new version of Legend of the Galactic Heroes. I do not like it. It sounds better. It looks not. I don't like the designs of any of the characters. I think they all look too pretty. It's a weird thing to say. They all look too pretty. And because they're too pretty, I'm like, I can't get into it as much. I was hoping, but it just didn't work. Not my thing. Prettier than shoujo era design, huh? How do I work? Like, let's see, Legend. Like here's like let me bring up like here's Siegfried. Everyone likes Siegfried. This is what I see Siegfried as. Like, he's a very handsome man. You get that right away. They made him look like this. Here's new Siegfried. You're like, okay. Then you get like Reinhard. Like, okay, it's Reinhard. You know, you get the long flowing hair, the very majestic way of looking at things. This is new Reinhard. You're like, oh, okay. Like, then you get like Yang. Yang looks like a fucking doober half the time. He looks like a goober. And you know he looks like a goober. And you're happy that he looks like a goober. He's a handsome man, but he's not. Like, he looks like a dude. This is what he looks like in the new one. Like, they all, like, weirdly look the same to me. And they all, I don't know. Something about the designs do not resonate with me as the old OVAs did. Something about those old OVAs gave each of those guys very different, very unique designs. The new designs make them all feel vaguely similar. I'm like, that's not, I'm not really vibing with it. Maybe I'm just an old man. An old broken man. Okay, so we've got this. So going to mm, 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 mm. Um. Mm, each type of armor. Properties, armor value. Armor value indicates how much damage is reduced by one. Mm. 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 Hard to blend in when wearing a tank. Do. Wajam. Bazinga, as one might say. So armor value, armor weight, armor weight. Let's see, we want to do. There's your 4 armor types. You get nothing more. Can I grab anything from Broken Crucible? Oh, Jesus, I'm tired. Okay. This is a beautiful thing. I can just steal things from this. It's amazing. Let's see what. Okay. We got stuff to do. I'm very tired and I am most likely going to stop speaking for a while. But I'm going to leave now, before you just hear me not say anything for like an hour. I am, as they say, away. Godspeed. Good luck. I'll see you all tomorrow again.